James Ellison. No, sorry. James Ellison leading the way at the moment, the man who did the double here at... Okay. Welcome to Brands Hatch, with apologies for our technical hitch there. I believe I was coming and going a bit on comms. I'm Jack Bernicle. This is the incredibly tight 1.1986 mile Brands Indy Circuit. This was virtually, except for this uphill to Druids Hill, is the original circuit that was mapped out, would you believe, 90 years ago in 1926 by a group of cyclists on the main road from London to Folkestone, who spotted a natural amphitheatre on land belonging to Brands Hatch Farm near the village of West Kingsdown and requested permission from the local farmer to start using it for bicycle racing and time trials. And a couple of years later, motorcycles also joined in the fun. It was tarmacked in 1950 and produced this fabulous little Brands Indy Circuit, as is popularly known as. But it means that only 1.7 seconds covered the 28 riders at the end of 3 free practice sessions. It's extraordinarily crucial to get a fast time in here to be able to make a good start. We're watching the two official Honda UK pilots there, of Jason O'Halloran and number 4 Dan Linfoot. We're now looking at the man who won the opening race of the series at Silverstone, the experienced Ulsterman Michael Laverty, 33 years old, has returned last year from 2 years riding in MotoGP, Motorcycle Grand Prix racing around the world. A former race winner in British Superbikes, who finally scored his first win of last season at the final race here at Brands Hatch on the long Grand Prix circuit, and is one of the pre-race favourites, the pre-season favourites for the title. He's riding for the Irish team, Tyco BMW. So Michael Laverty then looking for a fast time round here. The lap record is held at 45.212 by James Ellison, who was a double race winner here last year. And already you're seeing an example there of how traffic is liable to pop up in front of a rider on such a tight circuit. Yeah, as it dodges round matted smirts.
Yeah, and in actual fact, you not only have to put up with that in qualifying and practice, but also in the races. Because it's so short, you're into the back markers by, you know, earlier than any other circuit. In actual fact, about probably 7 or 8 laps of the 30 that these guys are going to have to run in the races tomorrow. You're into the back markers.
Luke Mossey, the young Cambridgesman, that's Philip Neal. He's the team boss and owner of Tyco BMW, a former motocross Grand Prix racer himself. And his number 2 rider, Christian Hidden, who's leading the championship with a series of consistent podium finishes, has just gone second quickest, 45.71. Fastest man, Luke Mossey, on the Quattro Plant Cool Kawasaki, 45.57. But we've got a faller.
It's Bowley, maybe?
That's an Anvil Higher Tag Racing Yamaha.
It's Rich Bowley.
And the red flag's out. I think the red flag has come out because that was the man from Florida, James Rocket Rispoli, who's ejected himself there. And this is James. They're looking to pinch every last 100th of a second round here.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be a bit on edge, isn't it?
It is, because it's such a short circuit, 45-second laps. It's in time and in distance. It's the shortest circuit we come to. And, you know, if you go to places like Thruxton or Silverstone or Donington, a second, you can kind of look where you can make that up. Here, if you're a tenth of a second off, you can be sometimes pulling your head out to actually decide where you can catch that up. A tenth of a second is a long way around here.
Tommy Bridewell there from down in near Devizes is riding for the Bennett Suzuki team this year.
And Tommy's been looking really, really good. It's one of those circuits, is Brands Hatch Indy, where you have to just grit your teeth. They say bite the screen. You chisel your teeth onto your screen, you grit your teeth, you get your neck stuck out and you go. And he's really good at doing that, and that's got him a time in.
We're looking now in the JG Speed Fit Kawasaki camp. James Ellison there was a double race winner here on left of picture number 77 at the Brands Indy Circuit. So Luke Mossey then, James Ellison, double race winner last year. He's currently in, well, we've only just got started on this session, so it's really not relevant where he is, in 19th place with a 46.5. Notice that's exactly 1 second behind the fastest man. This is the experienced American John Hopkins. Hopper riding for Tommy Hill's ePay Me Yamaha squad. This is very much their local race, being based in Kent. And Hopper, who so narrowly lost the British Championship in 2011 to Tommy Hill, is back to try and redress the balance here in 2016.
Hopkins has looked really nervous the whole of the week, and I've seen him a couple of times, and he doesn't want to talk.
We'll take a quick break then. While we've got this break in the action, we'll be back with more afterwards. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where a tumble for James Rispoli very early on in Q1 has seen a red flag. The good news is that James is on his way to the medical centre now. He's conscious, and hopefully he's going to be all right. We can grab a quick word of the man who was quickest so far in that session, Luke Mossey. Luke, it's kind of a home round for you, this one, and things seem to be going all right so far.
Yeah, I feel like I've struggled a little bit in myself over the weekend. We had a fairly good day yesterday with 6th, and obviously this morning 6th, but I didn't feel like I've had the perfect lap all weekend. So, you know, we've already just gone quicker than we have done all weekend, so I'm over the moon with that. And, you know, I think we still need a little bit more to get into Q3, but, you know, I'm feeling confident. We made another change then before qualifying with the gearing, so, and it's made a massive difference. So, yeah, looking forward to getting into Q2 now and just digging deep.
Difficult one, this track, because it's so short. I guess there's not that many places that you can look to make up time.
Yeah, I think the second covered like 22 riders, I think, so it's mad. It's just we're not looking for like half seconds like the normal Alton Park to Silverstone. We're looking for like half temps here, so it's just but when the lap's this short, it's hard to find that half a temp. But you know, I'm just happy that we've gone quicker than we have done all weekend, so hopefully we'll just build on it now and yeah, see where we end up.
Cheers, Luke. Well done so far. Good luck with the rest of the session. Cheers. Okay, it looks like the session's ready to get back underway, so let's cross back to Jack and James.
The BY's Ducati is, of course, the Paul Bird Motorsport team, and that man is the most successful rider in British Superbike history. 4 times champion now, 301 races under his belt, 68 race wins for the 39-year-old Londoner, Shane "Shaky" Byrne. This very much his local track. Yeah,
and you would think he'd be getting fed up of all this nonsense by now, but he isn't. We had a meal with him last weekend, didn't we? And I said, is the fire still in your belly? He says, more than ever. And you can just tell when you ask him that and look in his eyes, he still wants to be where he is, and he still wants to win.
And of course he currently lies second in the championship, 14 points behind Christian Idden's Tyco BMW. Though of course, James, as we watch the ambulance taking the American James Rispoli off just to the medical centre for a checkup, thankfully. Shane Byrne has changed motorcycles after a long period on Kawasaki. He's now back with Ducati.
Yep, the Ducati Panigale, as we look at Richard Cooper, just getting in the zone there with his eyes shut. Obviously, the best ride of his life, in my opinion, for several reasons at Alton Park when he took that win in BSB last time out. Not least for the fact that he took a little bit of a risk on a wet track that was clearly going to dry out, and he put a slick tyre on the rear. That's a brave move, because on a wet track with a slick rear with 210 horsepower, that takes some skill to get going round until the track dries out. So brilliant from Richard.
Well, we've never doubted the little Nottingham.
No, we haven't. Actually, since we first saw him in Boxer Cup and European stock thou races, we've never doubted him. He has got a lot of talent, has Richard.
So now the lads that line up at the exit to pit lane. There's Shaky Byrne making his move. Dan Linfoot making his move on the black and red. We're getting the reds confused on the black and red Honda Fireblade. There's the distinctive motorcycle of Dubliner Jack Kennedy, who rides for the WD-40 team on that very beautiful blue and yellow Kawasaki.
So Jack Kennedy in the garage there in those very same leathers quite late last night. He didn't get changed, stayed in the garage, chatted with his crew chief. The debrief took about 2 hours, and even after that he still sat there with a map of the track, writing notes down where he was losing time, you know, Jack is putting the effort in. The W40 team, Brent Gladwin and Jeff Truss really love him. He's a good lad, and he for me, this is another lad who's got more talent than he has shown so far.
So we watched Jack Kennedy going to his first flying lap. Then he's behind Glenn Irwin, who is, of course, that new boy rookie this season on the BYD Ducati, having been running at the front for the last couple of seasons of the British Super Sport Championship. There is Glenn Irwin on the black and red BYD Ducati just in front of Kennedy. That's two Irish lads together. Irwin, of course, of a fabled Ulster racing family. Kennedy, very much a lad who came out of nowhere in Dublin without, as far as I know, any previous kind of racing connections.
Yeah, Kennedy, that's obviously the man in the shot there. WD-40 bike, yellow and blue bike, with the shamrock on his helmet. Now, he came to this country having done a little bit of racing in Ireland. He came to do the R6. Oh, steady. That's clearways, and the track drops away there. As the bike drops away, the weight has lifted from both ends of the bike. You're trying to get the throttle up at the same time. Less weight means less grip, and the thing just kicked out a little bit. The thing is, you're actually ready for it there, so you're better placed to get hold of it should it slip. Remember, no traction control on these bikes in BSB now. The only traction control you've got is what's in your right hand on the throttle.
Glenn Irwin, the number 2 Ducati, as I said, is a complete rookie to this series. He's chasing number 22, the Australian Jason O'Halloran. This is a truly international domestic series.
Yeah, the most international domestic series in the world. And it's not, I mean, I shouldn't say this really, but it's not because a lot of these foreign riders want to be in Britain. They want to be in BSB because they see that very much as a stepping stone into World Championship racing, whether that be Moto2 or the MotoGP paddock, that's happened before, or whether it's going to be World Superbike, World Supersport, European Stock Down.
Fastest man on track is still Luke Mossey. watching Jason O'Halloran now on the Honda Fireblade. That's a 1000cc 4-cylinder motorcycle. Right behind him, of course, the 1200cc twin-cylinder Ducati, the thundering motorcycle from Italy. This is Richard Cooper heading out on yet another red machine. To confuse you even further, that's the build-based BMW.
Yeah, Cooper's been fairly quick in every session. We've had 3 sessions thus far. None of them count towards grip position, but he has been fairly quick in them all. Top 8 in just about every session, has Richard. But Richard Cooper does like it here, albeit on the long circuit. These have been some of his best results at Brands Hatch. He's had Rostrums here before.
He finished second here in rather dodgy conditions last year, didn't he, Richard?
Yeah,
he does like this place.
He was well placed to get offered the big 5,000 quid for starting from the back of the grid, and he says, no, I never get a chance to start from the front row of the grid. I'll leave the money, I'll take the front row start. Great lad, actually, Richard Cooper.
He started out riding on the bike his dad used to. He started out racing on the bike his dad used to ride to work. You know, it really came up the long, hard way. Very varied career. He's raced in all sorts of championships.
So his dad had to take the bus after that. What happened? Oh, that's Jack
Kennedy's gone down, and it looks like he's gone down heavily. He had that little taster. That's at Graham Hill Bend, which is the only left-hand bend on this circuit, James. We've already lost former champion Yuichi Kianari with a broken collarbone sustained here. It's been tricky this weekend.
In actual fact, there's a slight left-hand as you chuck into kind of surtees and into clearways, but it's really, you're dead right, it's the only left-hander where you're braking in there, you're trying to feel for what's on the front end, and it's generally front-end crashes we've seen there. I don't know just how that's transpired, but Yuichi Kinari's been off already this weekend in exactly that corner and broken his collarbone, but it's normally going into that corner they've been crashing this weekend.
And I think we've already got another red flag out. It really is not usually thus, ladies and gentlemen, but this is a very special, rather unkind circuit. You can see the dismay in the WD-40 garage there. That's
Jack's mum and dad, in actual fact. We don't really know what's going on with Jack. He's been attended to now, but one thing I can say about Jack is he is a tough lad.
He's going to need to be. That's been looks like it's been a big fall. Remember, he was injured in both the last 2 seasons, James. He's lost race time through injury. So let's hope that Jack Kennedy isn't too damaged there. Certainly the motorcycle is. There's a lot of work to do for the WD-40 team. Good job. Jeff Crust's got a lot of experience, James, from his Grand Prix days.
Yeah, and you know, yeah, Jeff Crust used to run he didn't race in Grand Prix, he raced at club level, and a really good club rider and lower national rider was Jeff, but he also ran the Marlboro Yamaha squad for about 10 years. Another thing about medical facilities at BSB, they are second to none. They are the best medical backup and facilities you get in any, and I mean, even considering World Championships, it's just as good as anything you'll ever get anywhere here.
Alistair Seeley is currently just outside the top 18. The wee wizard, another of the Ulster boys, a 34-year-old who last year in the Irish road racing scene, the Northwest 200, won his 17th race at the Northwest 200, which is an out-and-out record, beating the great Robert Dunlop.
That's right, yeah. That was...
and he's well pleased with it, I can tell you.
Yeah, he is, yeah.
Jack Kennedy is complaining of leg pain, something he knows about. He's conscious and telling the medics he's got pain in his leg. Poor lad, he knows about that because I spoke to him just after he flicked himself off at Cadwell Park last year, and it turned out he'd cracked his lower leg in that mishap. So I'd like to feel he hasn't done anything like that again. Anyway, the medical car is out there with him. Jack Kennedy's being attended to, and the red flag is out. That's number 44, Jack Kennedy, down, coming onto the Cooper Straight. And you're right, James, of course, there is that fast left-hander at the end of the Cooper Straight as well, which gives us kind of two left-handers on this 45-second lap, just.
Yes, but this is the main left-hander. It's Graham Hill that's the main left-hander on the track.
So, and we've got Matt down at Halsall Suzuki. Let's go and check him out down there. Matt, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. James, actually, the Graham Hill Bender course was the very place where, unfortunately, Ryuichi Kiyanari sustained an injury yesterday. Kiyo, so sorry to see this once again, another broken collarbone in the same corner where you did it 2 years ago.
Yeah, same corner, but this time I lose front in entry. I tried it a bit too fast, but I'm very happy with bike, and speed and lap time was okay, but I'm very disappointed my mistake.
So what's the diagnosis? Obviously it's broken, but do you have to have an operation? Do you know how long that you'll be out of racing for?
Not in operation, but I'm ready. I try to do quick recovery, and I try to ride the Smeton test, but if not, for sure, no problem, knock here.
Okay, thanks, Kiyo. Good luck with your recovery.
Thank you.
Okay, and of course, Knockhill is in a month's time. It's the next round of the championship. Let's grab a word with Kiyo's team manager, team owner, Martin Halsall, here at the Bennett Suzuki team now. Martin, it's a real bad luck for Kiyo, but also for the team. You know, it's been a tough start to the campaign for you guys, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's such a shame, really. I mean, he was certainly getting the pace. We had a test at Anglesey a couple of weeks ago, really found what we needed to find from coming away from Alton Park, and just really disappointed that, you know, that's what happened. The other side of it, he was pushing, he was on it, and that's what we like to see. We don't like to see the crashing and him hurting himself, but at the end of the day, he was definitely on the pace.
The other side of the garage, of course, you've got Tommy Bridewell as well this year. It's a new look lineup for you in terms of machinery, riders and everything. How's everything gelling together in general? Yeah,
really good. I mean, very hopeful of this round, you know, and Tommy's obviously proving that he's on the pace as well, so great to see them both on the pace. Let's hope Tommy can get the results this weekend. Unfortunately, not going to see Kiyo, but no pressure, Tommy.
All right, thanks very much, Martin. All the best this week.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's cross to James Hayden now, who's with Tommy Hill.
Tommy, firstly, looking really nice. How's it all going?
Yeah, I think it's tough. I think everyone's finding it a bit tough. You know, obviously with the championship rules, it's trying to make the racing closer. So great for the fans, a little bit tough for us in the garage. But you know, it's the same for everyone. We know we've got good packages. We've got Yamaha behind us, and it's challenging. I mean, you know, John seems very comfortable on the bike. He's happy. We're just sort of trying to find the missing link there, and still trying to get Stuart comfortable. We know how Stuart is, and when he's fast, but just trying to find that magic setting for him to move forward.
It's a chassis thing for him? He just hasn't got the feel?
Yeah, I mean, we know we've got the speed. We're topping speed traps, which is good. The fueling, the mapping, all is perfect, you know. But just trying to get the right feel, and you know, once Stuart's got that, he'll be quick. But you know, we're trying all we can to try and get the best out of it.
Now, are John's and Stuart's bikes set up very different?
No, pretty similar. Obviously, we have a lot of information from Yamaha factory as well, so that's great, you know, just to make sure we are in the ballpark, and we are. You know, we're not a million miles away from the World Superbike team, but that doesn't mean that's right for our guys, you know, and we don't run traction control or anti-wheelie system, so, yeah, we're just sort of doing all we can to try and find the right formula and setting for our guys, and we're getting there. I mean, you know, John feels comfortable, he's happy, and we know he can put a lap in if need be, and it's early days for us. You know, we're still recompiling all our settings and data, and It's early days, but yeah, on the flip side, it's frustrating because the team is working really well, as you said. Yeah, it all looks good, but we want to start pushing for results now, and hopefully they'll come.
I'm sure they will, Tommy. We look forward to that. OK, let's get straight back to the commentators, Jack and James.
So here we go with the third attempt at the first qualifying session in the Data Tag Extreme qualifying at British Superbikes Brands Hatch Indy Circuit in Kent.
We've got to point out that if you're new to watching bike racing, it's normally not like this.
This is an extreme version of the Data Tag Extreme qualifying.
Yeah, and actually in the break we saw that Jack Kennedy is up and limping, albeit, but I'm sure he's going to be all right.
As we watch riders take off at the moment, let's just check out there. Remember, the top 18 riders go through to qualifying too, and they've got just over 7.5 minutes to sort out their times. At the moment, number 12, Luke Mossey, on the Quattro Plant Tech Care Kawasaki leads the way. Second place for Tyco BMW's championship leader, Christian Idden, the 31-year-old Derbyshire boy who's a relatively recent presence in road racing, used to ride a sport called Supermoto very successfully for many years, 10 times a British champion. That's a kind of cross between off-road motocross and road racing. Third place is for Tommy Bridewell with Bennett Suzuki. Fourth is former champion Shaky Byrne on the B-Wiser Ducati. Then Richard Cooper's BMW, Peter Hickman on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki, followed by Michael Laverty, James Ellison, John Hopkins, and Big Danny Buchan from Essex on the Moto Rapido Ducati. They are the top 10. At the lower end, James, 18th place for Sean Winfield, 19th James Rispoli, who's out of this session. So Seeley, Backlund, Zanotti, Januzzo, Mainwaring Smart, and Stuart Easton aren't currently in that top 18.
No, they'll all be looking to raise again, getting that top 18 to transfer through to Q2. We've got a really good look at this man. This is JG Speedfit's Leona Haslam. Somebody else off, is that?
Oh, Philip Backlund.
Yes, Backlund.
The
yeah,
Swede
James.
from Stockholm. Philip Backlund has deposited his Kawasaki, and he'll be frustrated because he's just come back from an injury and was looking forward to getting properly back into the swing of things,
yes,
James.
Same corner. This is that's a high side. Coming out of Graham Hill. Yeah.
That's a heavy fall. Thankfully, he's picked himself up. These lads are tough, but he's frustrated by that.
Exactly. More frustration than anything else. This is Peter Hickman.
That's the man in the background, not the man in the foreground.
Sorry, not the man in the foreground with his tongue out.
Peter Hickman, who's also the road racing star, Isle of Man TT Northwest 200, as well as being a top-class short circuit man, already victorious at Silverstone.
Yeah, he's won around this year and looking like he could possibly win a TT or at least run up the front. He's accepted now as Britain's best all-rounder in terms of roads and pure circuit racing.
We're looking up at the moment, we're looking up the Brabham Straight. Would you believe these motorcycles are coming towards you at close to 170 miles per hour in fifth gear, and then they're tipping over the crest into that amazing plunge down, completely blind crest that you come over, James. You plunge down Paddock Hill Bend and then up Halewood Hill, and you're doing about 80, 90 miles an hour as you drop down the hill and then go back up to Druid. And then this is the drop back down Graham Hill Bend along the Cooper straight up to 140 miles an hour, third or fourth gear, and then tipping into the left at Surtees, right into McLaren's. You're still doing the thick end of 80 miles per hour in third gear as you go around here, and when you have a moment like that, it can flick you skywards if you're not careful. And then round Clearways, the Clark Curve, named of course after the great Jimmy Clark, back onto the Brabham Straight, and all that takes place in like 45 seconds. It is hectic.
Yeah, it is. In actual fact, there is no straights. This is known as the bottom straight. There's no straight. At the front straight, there's no straight. These bikes have so much power, you're on your side the whole way around. There's lots going on. A lot of the problems you've got at Brands, actually, especially on the Indy circuit, is the fact it's ups and downs. Like here, Clearways, it drops away. You haven't got as much weight on the wheels. You haven't got as much grip, therefore. So there's loads going on. The only thing that's changed for this meet in particular, there's a big patch going around the whole of the inside of Druids. That's the kind of hairpin bend they come up to just about now. This is just looking at into Druids, and it's quite a bump just as you come off the brakes and turn it into Druids. It's quite a sharp bump where the surface changes.
This is number 5, Stuart Easton, riding for Tommy Hill's ePayMe Yamaha team, and Tommy's being very patient with Stewart. He knows the little Scotsman, twice a former super sport champion, needs time to get his setup right. We're looking at number 20. This is Jenny Tinmouth, the lovely lady from Ellesmere Port, the fastest lady in British racing, and she rides for the official Honda UK racing team on the Fireblade.
Yeah, she's been off already this weekend into Druids, lost the front, went in the gravel, bike turned over, looked really dirty. She came back all dust everywhere, but she's none the worse.
Sheepish.
Yeah, no, she's sheepish anyways.
No, exactly.
She comes and instructs on my track training days, and she's just lovely. People like her. Also, you get a lot of blokes coming on there thinking because she's not running right at the front of British Superbikes, that they're going to come and have a go, and they're going to be quicker than her, and they can't get within 10 seconds of her, and they're shot.
This is the veteran Italian, Vito Iannuzzo, James, an intriguing addition to the BSB paddock. He was the European Superstock 1000 champion back in 2002, and he's always been a kind of journeyman in World Superbikes, always enjoyed his racing, always with a smile on his face, and he's riding for that lovely, beautifully turned out Gearlink Kawasaki team.
Always looks like he's no stranger to the biscuit tin, to me.
That's right.
But he had a big crash at Island Bend at Alton Park, and the last time we saw him there was being stretched up. I couldn't find any information out, so I'm really pleased he's here and in good health.
Still smiling. That was Christian Idden in the garage. He's leading the championship, the Derbyshireman for the Tyco BMW team.
And for me, Christian Idden is the find of the championship. Not so much a find for us. We know how good he is. He just seems this year to have got the package, the team, the technicians he works with, and the bike he likes. He's making minimal changes to that BMW, that Tyco BMW, and it's working just about everywhere. And for me, is an outside tip for the championship. He's that good, in my opinion.
We've just seen Howie Mainwaring Smart not managed to improve on 26th place there on the blue and white Smith's BMW. And for Howie, this is very much now his local track.
Yep.
He came originally from Cheshire, from up Frodsham way.
Yep.
Alton Park is a circuit that he's tasted victory on, but now he lives down here. He's married into the Smart Sheen family, and he's very happy down in Kent, and this is his local track, really. He'll be disappointed with that because he's won here before.
He generally goes really well here. Yeah, his win was in iffy conditions, and yeah, but that's not an excuse. He can ride well here.
Stuart Easton only 23rd, James. He's really not produced a lot of results to speak of so far. I think he managed to get some points for the first time in the second race at Alton Park. He got a 10th place.
He's really struggling. It's difficult to tell whether it's him or the bike, or a combination of both. He is a rider, Stuart, who we all know he's got a lot of talent. We all know he's capable of winning, or has been capable of winning British Championships in virtually any class. However, if things aren't going well, he's not the type of rider to just think, well, I'll override things and take a few risks. He's not that kind of man. If things aren't right, he's unlikely to get a result.
So the experienced Stuart Easton, a really pint-sized, baby-faced 30-plus from up in Hoyk in the kind of Scottish borderlands over on the west coast of Scotland. Tommy Hill, of course, most famous and always will be. There he is, the man who now runs and owns the ePay Me Yamaha squad that Stuart's riding for the fact that he won the British Superbike Championship here on Yamaha for Sean Muir's team in 2011 by 6,000ths of a second in a charge for the line against John Hopkins, who now, of course, ironically, is riding for him, the Californian in the Yamaha team.
Yeah, really strange. A lot of people couldn't understand what happened to Tommy Hill. He retired at 26, 27 years old, when you would think he had a good 10 years left in him. But, you know, some people just use up everything and they've had enough. And you know, this isn't the type of sport you can keep doing. It's a type of sport you're either 100% committed to or you don't do it. You know, the risks are such and the commitment's such that you can't do it if you only half want to do it. You don't dip in and out of this job.
This is Lee Jackson. He's the 19-year-old from Lincoln, a lovely, likeable, quiet, laid-back kind of character who rides for the Bill-based BMW team.
And he's just sneakily putting a decent season together. He's Lee Bob, yeah, good little rider, one for the future is Lee. Luke Mossy.
I was just going to say, Lee Jackson, currently 9th in the championship. As you say, he's just quietly going about his business.
And I didn't believe myself until I saw, he's having not having a bad season. This is Luke Mossy. Great lad, is Luke.
He started out with a 3rd place at the opening round, the first race in Silverstone. Hasn't quite managed to follow that up just yet. But, of course, right now, he's standing top of the pile.
Lots and lots of talent. In terms of pure speed on a motorcycle, There's not many got the talent that Luke's got. Whether all that can be focused and channeled and made into a British champion or not, many think he can.
Luke Mossey on the Quattro Plantec Kawasaki then is top of the pile on 45.57, with Richard Cooper in second place, James Ellison, double race winner around the short Indy circuit last year, in third. Tommy Bridewell and Christian Idden top round out of top 5 ahead of Shaky Byrne, Peter Hickman, Michael Laverty on the second Tyco BMW, John Hopkins and Jason O'Halloran, the leading Honda, in 10th place. Behind him we've got Danny Buchan, the tall Essex boy, all 6'3" on him, ahead of Leon Haslam, returning from World Superbikes, Dan Linfoot. Jack Kennedy, if they can possibly get that motorcycle back together again, is ahead of Billy McConnell, Glenn Irwin, Lee Jackson, and the final qualifier is Alistair Seeley on the Royal Air Force BMW. We lose both Sean Winfield and James Rispoli from Anvil Higher Tag Racing Yamaha. We also lose Stuart Easton, Vito Iannuzzo, Aaron Zanotti, Philip Backlund after that crash. Jenny Tinmouth is 25th ahead of Mainwaring Smart and the two Smertz brothers who run their motorcycle business together back in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. The most remarkable thing about that was that Sean Winfield, who was the first guy to miss out, was only 0.7 seconds off Luke Mossey in top spot. It's very tight as the top 18 head into Data Tag Extreme Q2. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes. BMW leading the championship at this early stage, Philip, with Christian Idden. You must be really pleased with how things have gone so far.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's really early days in the championship, and honestly it doesn't really matter at this stage whether you're, as long as you're in that top 6 at this point. That's all we're really thinking about. But it's nice for Christian, you know, it's a good confidence booster for him.
Yeah, it really seems to be, I mean, he always rides with a smile on his face anyway, but he just does seem to have that extra confidence this year. Yeah, I mean, he's always been a very talented rider. Everyone's been saying that, and he just needed to find, I think, a comfort zone, and hopefully we've helped him find that. And it's not going to be plain sailing all year. He knows that. I mean, he's finding it a little bit tougher this weekend. Not tough, but he's finding it a little bit harder to find that sweet spot that he did in the previous 2 rounds. And we're going to get that, and he's aware of that. So thankfully he's an experienced lad, and he knows that. Tough track for all the riders, this one, isn't it? I think it's perhaps not the ideal layout for a superbike. It's certainly challenging. No, it really isn't, unfortunately. But it's the same for everyone. And we just looked there, and I think the top 19 were separated by 0.7 of a second, something absolutely ridiculous. You're likely to see pole position here down to hundredths, if not thousands. And you know, how do you come into your garage and know where that hundredth is? You can't possibly know that. So it's a little bit of luck around here too. You need to find track space. That's not easy to find. And of course, the organisers, rightly so, they don't want the riders to tour either. So it's a bit of luck of the draw as well. Cheers, Philip. Good luck. Thank you. Okay, well, as you can see, here go the boys out behind us now. 18 riders looking for space on track to set a lap in Q2 and make it through to the top 9. Let's cross back to James and Jack.
So, Data Tag Extreme qualifying session 2, and immediately a glimpse of the pocket rocket, the immensely experienced Leon Haslam, father of a famous son, of course, Ron Haslam, great Grand Prix rider. And Leon Haslam almost inevitably got into motorcycles, into motocross as a kid, and then into scooter racing. Believe it or not, they actually race scooters in the UK, and he was the national scooter champion at the age of 14, James.
He wasn't. In actual fact, even to this day, Ron and Leon are never off bikes. If they're not at a meeting, on bikes, talking about bikes, setting bikes up and racing for a living, they've got a big shed at the bottom of the garden where they do indoor kind of mini bike racing. They've got trials bikes, motocrossers. It's a proper toy shed, is that?
And he was a late comer into the JG Speed Fit Kawasaki team. The deal was only really sorted out just before the beginning of this year. The two guys leading the way right here are the other two JG Speed Fit Kawasaki riders, James Ellison and Peter Hickman there in second place. The big, tall figure of the Derbyshire-born man who now we tend to regard as a Lincolnshireman because he lived over in Louth for so many years. Hickman, currently the fastest ever newcomer lapping the Isle of Man TT circuit, and obviously looking forward to the TT in the roads next year, but meanwhile next month. But meanwhile, turning his attention very much to the short circuits again.
Yeah, he's been tailed by the Be Wiser Ducati PBM bike of Glenn Irwin, in turn been tailed by Dan Linfoot on the Honda.
Linfoot, the quiet man from North Yorkshire, who's
Don't start
about,
that again.
about to become a dad. Number 4, Dan Linfoot.
There was some discussion as to whether Dan Linfoot lived in North Yorkshire or West Yorkshire. We kept getting a lot of tweets in, people ringing in, everybody had their own input, and then he went and moved. So he's definitely now in North Yorkshire now, we reckon.
And this is Christian Idden swooping across the line. Idden, who's had a remarkable start to the season with Tyco BMW, twice third at Silverstone, twice second at Alton Park. Immensely consistent. The big joke as far as he's concerned is he's still convinced that Philip Neal originally rang him up to tell him that he wouldn't be requiring his services in 2016. But by the time they'd had a good blather on the phone, mainly about their old motocrossing days and stuff, he'd offered him a job.
And I think, do you know, that's one of the reasons that he's going so well this year. Christian has a lot of talent, we know that. He's had reasonable bikes before and he's had a good chance at things. However, this year he's really gelled with the team, gets on really well with the Neals, both Hector and Philip, and really well with the team. And there's a lot to be said for that. If you're happy, you generally go quick.
Just behind him is number 12, our first glimpse of Luke Mossey on track. There he is on the distinctively coloured Quattro plant. Tech Care Kawasaki. Tech Care very much his long-standing personal sponsor.
Yeah.
Quattro plant run by Pete Extons from Bournemouth Kawasaki down on the south coast.
Yeah, Luke's an interesting fella, Essex boy. You can tell what he's saying when he wants you to know what he's saying, but when he's talking to his mates, he goes at a different speed and you can't tell what he's saying.
Number 67, Shaky Byrne. How many times must he have won here at Brands Hatch? When he was on his way to his first British Superbike Championship, also on a Ducati with Paul Bird in 2003, he was finishing third here, would you believe, in at the Brands Indy Circuit.
Oh, that. You've got a big slide there, Jack. There's some rollers just as you come out of clearways and almost clip the first part of the pit wall. There's some real big rollers, not like sharp bumps as if you're going down a pothole. These are like sort of undulations, and it really upsets Shane Byrne's Ducati there.
Watching his teammate Glenn Irwin, talk about opposite ends of the ball. Glenn Irwin, a rookie in his first season in British Superbikes, and he's riding another big power slide from the Ducati, and he's riding alongside the most experienced man in the paddock and the most successful. So Irwin at 49.01. He'll need to improve a bit on that. At the moment, though, he's got a 46.064 down. Mossey still is quickest with a 45.4 ahead of Hopkins, who's jumped in with the ePayMe Yamaha in second place. James Ellison third. Bridewell Suzuki fourth. Cooper is fifth. Shaky Byrne in sixth.
Yeah, half a second back to the 13th rider. That's just how close lap times are here. As I say, a couple of tenths here is a long time.
Here the elbows and knees of Danny Buchan trying to tuck that 6'3" frame into the Lloyd's British Moto Rapido Ducati. Here, former national super stock 1000cc champion on the standard bikes, 1000cc bikes. He and Richard Cooper, former champions in that class. So Danny Buchan just cruising round the hairpin at the top of the hill. This is Peter Hickman. Launches round cities into McLarens and then clearways. All of them join one onto the other and then round the really tricky Clark curve onto the Brabham Straight.
Yeah, you, as a rider, you just know it has clearways. That's it. You don't mention any of the other names. Surtees goes into clearways, goes into the straight that isn't the straight.
Oh, and McLarens. There's McLarens in there as well. There's 4 different names there.
Yeah.
Just checking out Billy McConnell here, who got a rather late, losing the outside twitch of the left knee as the bike gave a bit on him then, James. This is the former Super Sport champion from 2014, the Australian Billy Skippy McConnell from Adelaide.
Remember, 9 riders, the top 9 riders go through to Q3, where they'll have 8 minutes to decide the first 3 rows.
So McConnell currently 13th, needs a time. This is Tommy Bridewell. He's already in 4th place. He's looking pretty comfortable with a 45.59 second to his... the people who are lower down, incidentally, behind him. Laverty's 8th, O'Halloran's 9th. Hickman is in. Oh, and we've got a faller. That's McConnell. Yep. Billy McConnell, who we've just been looking at. And I think it's again Graham Hill Bend that he's flicked himself off.
So have a look in the back of the shot. Yeah. It is exactly the same shot.
So McConnell then spits himself out. That means he will not be coming out in the final Super Pole session. So Billy currently, of course, what that means, if he stays 14th, that is the position he will start on the grid for the first of tomorrow's Superbike races. Meanwhile, Dan Linfoot still trying to get a time in, currently in 13th place. Linney, he needs to improve on that. Linfoot is still in 13th place, not able to get that Fireblade round any quicker right now, and he needs to lock up at the moment. That his best time 45.8. 9th place is his teammate Jason O'Halloran on a 45.7. That's how close it is. This is Hopkins. John Hopkins, 2nd place, so he's happy in the garage at the moment with his traditional number 21 on his back.
Yeah, loves Brands Hatch, whether it be the long circuit or the Indy circuit we're on this weekend. If you get a chance to watch Hopper walking, it's like a swag. It's like he's just going to draw his gun and shoot you. The arms by his side, kind of lolling from one side to another. Just talking about Dan Linfoot, chatted with him this morning. He said he's just struggling to get the bike so it doesn't sit down and slide the rear and lift the front, even in some of the 3rd and 4th gear corners. He says he cannot steer it. He can't get enough weight on the front. He's shortened the bike to put a little bit more weight on the front end just to try and get some help for him turning, but just not confident with it.
Linfoot at the moment not going quick enough. He remains kind of stuck in floundering in 13th place. Just the only people behind him, McConnell, Irwin Jackson and Alistair Seeley.
Linfoot's another rider who there's no doubt in his talent. He's got the speed. It just doesn't come out every weekend. He certainly has the speed to win these races, and has been close to doing so at times.
As he left Alton Park, when he if you remember, he high-sided out of a virtual race win late on in the first race. I said that was just an O'Halloran. We think that his teammate might have crashed. We think that his teammate, Jason O'Halloran, who was running in 9th place, might have got out of the race.
Same place. That's
O'Halloran
at Graham Hill Bend.
God, there's going to be a lot of repair work going on. And, this is Jason O'Halloran, who comes from Wollongong, famous down the coast from Sydney in Australia, famous for producing talented motorcycle riders.
Here we go. Look at the back of the shot. There you go. Same crash front end. And if anybody's got a turfing business, we could do you down here with a wagon load of stuff, because there's a lot of turf missing there.
I don't know whether it's going to... O'Halloran annoyed with himself. And another former National Superstock 1000 champion from 2 years ago. So O'Halloran stomps off. He's all in one piece, no problem. And there's quite a few damaged motorcycles needing a bit of repair work done for them during the course of the day. But Shaky Byrne quietly just sitting. He's only in 7th place, Shaky, but he obviously thinks that's good enough. And those searing pale blue eyes sitting there quietly contemplating life, while Mr and Mrs Bridewell sit quietly in the Bennett Suzuki camp.
Yeah, and these bikes that have been crashed have to be repaired because it's a single bike championship, which means you're not allowed just to run back to your pit. In the old days, in my day, you could jump on your spare bike and off you go. You're only allowed one bike.
This is Christian Itten, James, and he's stuck in 11th place. The championship leader, his team owner, Philip Neal, has just been telling us that Christian's struggling a little with getting the bike to do what he wants it to around this short, sharp Brands Hatch Indy circuit, and he's not doing enough. This is Hickman. Hickman's in 10th place. He could snatch 9th from O'Halloran if he can go fast enough, but I don't think he can. No, he stays in 10th place. So that's... O'Halloran on 45.70, Hickman 45.72, and Christian Itten, I thought, had pretty much pulled out of this lap. So he really needs to. He's going to run out of time.
I'm going to say there's no point in coming in. There's 1 minute 20 seconds left, so that's just a couple of laps he's got. There's no point coming in. No time to change anything and get out and do anything meaningful at all.
So the main thing that Christian Itten now goes for a hot lap. We're looking once again at Peter Hickman, number 60. And the tall figure, another of the 6-foot pluses in a sport that favours the smaller, lighter frames amongst the competitors. Hickman stays in 10th place. And I think is that Lee Bob Jackson ahead of him? Danny Buchan looks on. He looks pretty well. No, actually, Danny's down in 12th place. Danny's out of this.
He is.
Danny Buchan and the Lloyd's British Motor Rapido Ducati will not be taking part in the 3rd qualifying session.
Strange thing around here, you know, you almost hit a brick wall of times, and it doesn't matter what you do, you can't seem to get beyond that. And a tiny little problem with your bike makes, even if it just makes, you know, less than a tenth difference over a lap, that makes the difference, because so many riders squeezed into such a small amount of time.
There's the relevant time, 45.709. That's Jason O'Halloran's time, and that's the time that these guys are chasing. Any one of them could get themselves into qualifying 3, into Super Pole, if they could just chip enough of their time to make that difference. But at the moment, it looks to me as if Christian Idden is just...
This doesn't look quick enough.
Is he going to have one last...
The checker flags out, so this is it. This is his lap. Checker flags out.
So Christian Idden then is surely not going to go quick enough, because that looked more like a cruising lap.
It did,
Christian Idden stays in 11th place. He'll have to start from 11th place. Hickman is still on it. He's got past Lee Jackson. He's trying to make his way through. Jackson's down in 16th place. There's Lee Jackson. He's down in 16th. Can Hickman improve on 10th place? No, he can't. He remains absolutely, would you believe, 200ths of a second is all it took to create the difference between going through to Super Pole and having to stay in 10th place on the grid. And Hickman, number 60, will have to be happy with that. He gives a wave to the crowd. You always get huge sporting and knowledgeable crowds at British Superbike rounds, ready to cheer these lads on. So Q2, Luke Mossey has quietly, casually gone about his business and ended up 600ths of a second quicker than John Hopkins, who's the surprise leap into second place out of James Ellison. Tommy Bridewell Suzuki ahead of the BMW of Richard Cooper. Leon Haslam's Kawasaki ahead of B. Weiser Ducati and Shane Byrne. Michael Laverty, the Tyco BMW, and Jason O'Halloran for Honda Racing. Those 9 riders will go through to Super Pole. Hickman misses out by a whisker. And behind him, Christian Idden also succumbs, as do Danny Buchan, Dan Linfoot, Billy McConnell, Glenn Irwin, Lee Jackson and Alistair Seeley.
Thanks, Jack. So the top 9 riders go through to Q3. One of the riders who won't be going through, unfortunately, is Jack Kennedy. A bit like James Rispoli, crashed out in Q1 there. He looked pretty beaten up. We've got the team owner here for WD-40 Kawasaki, Brent Gladwin. Brent, what's the latest on Jack?
I shot over there on the scooter to see him, and he walked out of the ambulance, which is a good sign. He's laid in the bed next to Rispoli and Smertz, so there's a bit of a group in there. And he was talking about his old injuries, got a bit of a smile. He's knocked all the corners, so quite sore. Wait for a few x-rays and hopefully he'll be okay for tomorrow.
Yeah, the poor lad's had a few injuries, hasn't he, over the last couple of years?
Yes. Isaac Newton and Jack do seem to have a lot of pleasure together of late, but he's on the pace, and you know, he's doing a great job for us. So it's been one of those weekends with Taz getting pole, and then we've got another lad doing motocross who's had his first podium in British Championship. So we'll get Jack back out there and see if we can get some more points tomorrow.
The Super Sport Sprint race coming up later on, just after 3 o'clock, and we can have a look actually at the. There's Taran actually, as I'll give us a wave, Taran. Starts on pole position, first pole of the year, so looking good.
Yeah, brilliant. It's London Watchers pole position, first one for the South Connect Academy, and hopefully we'll collect a few more and start staying on the bike again.
That's the key, isn't it? Because he's shown that, you know, we know that Taz has got the pace to be a championship contender this year, but it's about being consistent, I guess, isn't it?
I think when we run young riders, they've got a lot to learn, and, you know, Taz has come a long way, and he's showing the pace of his dad, and maybe he'll spank his dad on British Championship wins, you never know.
Is he more generous than his dad? Does he get his hand in his pocket?
Oh, you know, with Neil, every pound's a prisoner.
Thanks, Brent. Hopefully there'll be a few more pounds coming your way this weekend.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
All right, OK, let's cross back to James and Jack now. In fact, we'll go to James and Jack after the break. How about that? That's a better idea, isn't it? Yeah. Q3 coming up, the top 9 positions on the grid to get sorted out when we come back.
Without doubt, one of the biggest prospects in British racing at the minute. Mind you, we've been saying it for a year or two now, but definitely got the speed as Mossey.
He was a rookie, of course, in this category, moving in from Supersport last year, whereas this man, John Hopkins, well, he's a former American AMA champion, and of course has finished 4th in motorcycle Grand Prix racing in MotoGP back in his Suzuki factory days, so vastly experienced. Whereas Skywalker, of course, he has got a lot of experience in that he was a mini moto rider as a kid. Started out in Y2K and as racing mini moto, and he became the UK champion in 2004. before racing in Spain, of course. A lot of experience for a 23-year-old.
Yeah, a lot of the younger end Brits go and race a season or two in CEV in Spain. Especially in the Moto 3 class, and they run a Moto 2 class that they don't do in the UK in Spain, and a lot of British riders end up going and doing a season or two of that.
He actually, in 2007, Luke Mossy was the Catalan 125 champion on those lovely little 125 two-stroke engines, which we don't have racing here anymore, as we catch up with Tommy Bridewell, who is the man doing the job of last year's champion Josh Brooks and getting himself out there very, very eagerly and early on. Shaky, of course, always last man out. He's the man there in the yellow helmet who's waving that Suzuki past him, because Shaky always tends to be the guy who lets the rest of them fire themselves out and then settles into his pace.
Bridewell's been pretty quick all weekend, you know, just they've found something with that GSXR Suzuki that's working, certainly working here at Brands Hatch Indy. Bit of a quirky circuit, but the bike, they said they haven't done much to it. They've come with it, and it seems reasonably good as a base for this circuit, and Tommy's been quick all weekend.
They've been testing at Anglesey, James, one of your favourite circuits. Is that in any way similar to this place?
Nowhere similar to this place. Anglesey is a lot more open, it's a lot wider. There's a little bit of everything at Anglesey. It's quite small and twisty in places and really fast in others. But I mean, testing is testing. There's no detriment to testing at any time. You know, you can learn things on any kind of circuit. What will translate directly from Anglesey to this place, I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. That's Luke Mossy in, and this is a short session. There's only just less than 6 minutes left now, so I can only assume there's something wrong.
So Luke Mossy, who finished 7th in his rookie season, he won the Riders' Cup outside that top 6 title fighters last year. So he is coming back into the pit. So something for Pete Extons and the boys to get their teeth into as we check out James Ellison, 45.303.
Now we
think that Luke Mossy's come straight back out.
He's back out. He's gone straight in and straight out. I don't know whether he's trying to catch up with somebody, get a toe off somebody, or get a little bit of clear track. It looks to me like he's trying to latch on to somebody. It looked like Shane Byrne. He looked like he was going to have a bit of a tow around with.
He's certainly not needed a tow so far. This is number 91, Leon Haslam. Former runner-up in the World Superbike Championship, and of course a former runner-up in British Superbikes. He's pulling out of his lap, so everybody's playing cat and mouse around here at the moment and trying to find themselves either a clear piece of track or someone to get a tow from.
Yeah, there's lots to think about. If you're trying to get a tow, you need to leave enough room between the bloke you're towing and yourself so you can catch up and get a better time than him. Also, you don't want to catch up with a slower group, because that'll hold you up as well, so a lot to think about. A bit of tactics coming in.
So Luke Mossy has got himself. Here's Mossy. He's come through the pit lane.
He's on one now,
and but he's run very, very wide and through it. He pulls it back.
That's nice. Late apex, big squared off exit there for Druids, and he looked to be really having a go when he turned into Druids.
So now he's creaming it along the Cooper Straight. He swings it left at Surtees, right into that configuration that is McLaren's at the first apex, then turning itself into Clearways, then the Clark curve, and this looks like a good lap for Mossy. Luke Mossy looking for that possible pole position. He was fastest in Q1, fastest in Q2. That's his target time, and he's just outside it. 45.705 is 6th fastest. So Laverty is second, Byrne third. This is John Hopkins.
Yeah, Mossy had a lot of traffic on that lap. He just didn't time it right. He couldn't allow for the fact that a few people like Shane Byrne and like Leon Haslam were kind of pulling in and looking for their own little tours. Bit unfortunate for Mossy, this.
45.757, 7th place for number 21, John Hopkins. This is Mossy. He's still on the rampage, of course. He needs to be. He's only got just over 3 minutes in which to sort out a quick time. Look at the front end of that Kawasaki diving under the brakes, James.
Yeah, it looked really soft when he hit the brakes there.
So as he scorches onto the Brabham Straight, this is Mossy once again trying to get that low 45.462. Moves him fourth. Second row, because remember there's only 3 riders per row. Byrne's gone second.
Yes,
Ellison, Byrne, Laverty.
Exactly. Really good tactics there from Byrne. He saw Mossy was on a quick lap, left a bit of a gap, caught to his man a little bit, and then has gone second.
Luke Mossey casts away a tear off there, so he's got a clear visor wall again. This is Leon Haslam. He lost the front here during the end of free practice earlier today. Had quite a big crash that threw him into the tyre wall, so he's a bit buffeted. His lovely little wife reckons, Ollie reckons, that he just likes any excuse to go and have a massage in the medical centre. But anyway, he went for one to sort out a bit of banging about, but only 8th for Haslam, and he's struggling, James, apparently, to get that bike to turn in the front end feel.
Yeah.
This is his teammate, James Ellison.
He says front end feel, and the weight transference when he hits the brakes isn't just the way he'd like it. He's just not getting the feeling he wants. Ellison sitting at the top at the minute.
So James Ellison, the 34-year-old from Kendal in Cumbria originally, now living down Leicester way, is quickest with a 45.303, 800ths of a second ahead of Shaky Byrne. This is Jason O'Halloran. He's back out. They got that, obviously didn't do too much damage to the Honda Fireblade, and he's got time to perhaps do 2 laps after this sighting lap. So O'Halloran does get back out. Now, the former national Superstock champion from 2 years ago is currently, of course, without a time, so he's down in 9th place. This is Hopkins. So Hopkins goes round the left-hander on that bellowing Yamaha.
Not a quick lap.
No, he's not really going for this. The body language doesn't indicate that this is what he's doing now. He's dropped it.
That's it. He's dropped it wide. He's trying to carry a little bit more speed onto the start and finish by sacrificing the first part of clearways. So it will be the lap that he's going for now in case of Hopkins. This Luke Mossey again. And it's a good lap, but look at who it is. This is a good lap.
Oh, this could fill Richard Coventry's full prophecy here, that he'll get himself on pole position. Oh, he's got it absolutely on the rim as he comes round clearways onto the Brabham Straight. Mossey.
That'll do it.
45.275. Mossey goes quickest, ahead of fellow Kawasaki rider Ellison and Ducati Shane Byrne. They would make up the front row at the grid at this point in time with less than 30 seconds left. Shaky Byrne's out there having a rip. So too is number 77 Ellison, backing into Druids on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki. Ellison, double race winner here at the tiny Brands Indy Circuit 12 months ago. Third in the championship last year.
This lap isn't going to be the one. He got held up by a little bit of traffic and he's already over half a second slower at the first split. And that's a lot of time to make up in the last part of the lap, and he's not going to do it.
So Mossey, Ellison, Byrne at the moment look like they're going to be the front row of the grid. Jason O'Halloran's having a stab. Remember, he's only got this lap to really try and make it. Oh, bucking, weaving Honda as he comes across the line. He remains in 9th place, which would mean Mossey, Ellison and Byrne would be on the front row. Laverty, Cooper, Bridewell on the second row, and Haslam, Hopkins, O'Halloran, all the H's on the third row. But this is Luke Mossey. He's through in that fast lap that was, well, the gap actually was 0.028, which is quite big by the standards of this lap. So the Skywalker's back on pole position for Pete Extens's team. And this, of course, is the grid as it will be for the first race tomorrow. The second 30-lap Superbike race tomorrow will feature a new grid, which will be based on the fastest laps from race 1. So Luke Mossey down on the Cooper Straight has himself a practice start. And this is how it finished. And these guys will start from these positions tomorrow. The front row of the grid will have Luke Mossey on the Quattro Plant Tech Care Kawasaki ahead of James Ellison and Shane Byrne. Michael Laverty's Tyco BMW will front row 2 alongside the build base equivalent of Richard Cooper and Tommy Bridewell's Suzuki. And then Leon Haslam, John Hopkins on the leading Yamaha and Jason O'Halloran on the leading Honda will be on the third row of the grid. So that was a pretty striking performance for Luke. Again, he just went out and he did look as if he was actually trying in that.
Yeah, that lap, he got held up a little bit on what would have been his best lap, I think. However, he just looked that you could see that he had it in him, or he thought he did at least anyway. Just looking for the sort of space and the time to do it.
So he's congratulated by his Quattro Plant Kawasaki team. Shaky Byrne looking not entirely chuffed on the left of picture, but his sporting team congratulates Luke Mossey there on getting the better of him. And he knows, of course, a man of his vast experience, that it's all about the race tomorrow. That's where the points are scored. There's little Pete Extens coming up on the right. Little bundle of fun from Bournemouth gives Luke Mossey a hug. And I tell you what, from a little, and Ray Stringer there, of course, in the dark glasses, he is a great former racer who is also a splendid tuner who does the engines for Pete Exton and has a whole lot of other experience to chuck in there as well, James.
Yeah, Ray was a really good rider back in my day. Started tuning bikes as soon as he started riding bikes, and always had quick machinery.
So he's obviously a good man to have in your garage then when you're looking after these Kawasaki machines. And he's proved that here. With Ducati there in third place, that beautiful Ducati Panigale on the left, the big Italian twin. And then on the right of picture, we haven't yet actually got to see the man on the right of picture, James Ellison there. Just you can glimpse him in the background. He finishes in second place. Shaky comes round to congratulate him. And those lads then will be in the best possible position for those, because it's not necessarily the easiest of places to pass, James. A front row start is a benefit.
Yeah, not just that. The grid's on a real slope. There's a lot going on into clearways, and yeah, you need a start.
James Ellison, I think James, judging by the look on his face, understandably, he thought he had that pole position under wraps there with that 45.303. And then right at the end, Luke Mossey produced that one galvanising lap. So Matt, I think, is going to be getting a word with the top three then at the end of that final Super Pole session here at Brands Hatch.
Yeah, that's right, Jack. I've got Shane Byrne here in third place. Shaky, front row start, so important at Brands Indy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm pretty happy, really, because you know, I went faster then than I went for yesterday, which was good. But there's still some little steps we can make, I think, with the bike. But they've been concentrating really hard on the 30-lap races, not on the you know, on the sort of 2 or 3 lap dashes to try and get a front row. So to be up here, it's the team's first one this year. I'm really, really proud, and shows what a great job they're doing for me and how hard we're trying as well. So fingers crossed tomorrow we can be at the sharp end for 30 laps and see where we end up.
Cheers, Shane. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Matt.
And second place then, last year's double winner here at Brands Indy, showing the pace again, James, on an important weekend for yourself, and as I said to Shane, an important front row start here at this track.
Yeah, it's same again at Alton though. The last time I saw him on board was P1. So I'm there waving to the crowd, doing stoppies and wheelies, and came in and saw the P2. So I wondered who it was, but obviously Luke's had a strong pace all weekend. I noticed there was only one sector he was sort of slow on. I thought if he gets that right, he's going to be up there, and he did. So fair play to him, set an incredible pace. Yeah, I couldn't match it, but we tried our best. You know, we've got a really good setup with the bike now since Alton Park. The boys at JG Speedfit Kawasaki have done a fantastic job together with Shower to give me the bike that I want and the bike I'm comfortable with. So, yeah, it's not pole position, but it's a front row, and we've got a 30-lap race, 2 30-lap races tomorrow to you know, to do. So that's the main job, but this is the first step. So big thank you.
Cheers, James. See you tomorrow. Bye. And the man on pole position then for tomorrow's race 1, the man who pipped James Ellison right at the end, Luke Mossey. Luke, you were quickest in Q1, Q2, Q3, nothing to worry about, right?
Yeah, I didn't expect that after 3 practice this morning. You know, we ended up 6th this morning, and you know, we should be happy with that, but I didn't feel like I had the perfect lap for most of the weekend. So, you know, to be quickest in all 3 sessions, ending qualifying, you know, I'm over the moon. And you know, I know tomorrow's gonna be more tough. Obviously, we've got to do 30 of them. So, but you know, to bag up our first pole position like this, you know, dream come true.
Congratulations, Luke. We'll see you tomorrow. Well done.
Thanks a lot, guys.